Hey there guys, what's going on? Tyler here with your Movie Fix, and today we're going to be taking a look at Bryan Singer's latest installment, X-Men Apocalypse. Now the film starts off with a pretty great intro by Apocalypse. We see him in ancient Egypt, he's got his followers, a surprisingly brutal action scene going on there, but it's really just to set up and give us more background of the tease that we got in the post-credit scene of Days of Future Past. And we see some of his four horsemen that he has originally. Pretty brutal stuff going on, and the special effects were pretty great. And this is really to set up the backstory of why he goes missing, and that's what we're getting. He gets buried, and we get a glimpse of his powers that he can actually transfer his consciousness into the other mutants, and that's how he's been going through the years and the millennia, collecting other powers from the mutants. And we get reintroduced to the big three mutants of what they've been up to post the Washington, D.C. event in Days of Future Past. And we get to see that Charles Xavier is back and being a professor, full-blown. The school is running, we got tons of new students, and he's been doing his thing. And we also get shown Michael Fassbender. He has a very interesting character arc through the beginning of the movie. And they did some things that I thought were pretty surprising. Like, we get a Magneto, an Eric Lencher who's been in hiding. He's trying to start a normal life. He has a family this time around, which was very shocking going into it. I wasn't really sure that they were going to go that route. And you'll really get a lot of great details about some more of his backstory, more of his family. And Michael Fassbender did some really cool things with the character in this movie. And also what's going on with Raven, Mystique. Now, I was worried that they were going to try to make her into this hero, and she says it many times throughout the movie, I'm not a hero, I don't want you to look at me this way. But a lot of the younger mutants now, this has been 10 years since what all these younger kids got to see on live TV back in the 70s with what was going on in DC, and everyone got to see Mystique save the president and make mutants look good. So all these mutants look up to her. She's like, please don't look up to me. And she's kind of taken on this mentor role for mutants all across the world, and she's been liberating mutants, basically. She's not saving them or like taking them into like the mutant brotherhood or something like that, but it's more of in a loose liberating way. She's getting them out of these areas where they're being ostracized or even tortured, and she's breaking them out and teaching them, like, go off and be on your own. I got you out of this mess, now go do your thing. And it was a pretty interesting thing to see the big three, where they've evolved since the First Class movie. And all the while this is happening, Apocalypse is hopping all around the world and collecting his four horsemen. We get to see Storm, Psylocke, Angel, Magneto. They were all pretty badass, and Storm was actually the first one to run into him in Egypt, so we do get an actual African-born Storm, which was really interesting to see that finally on screen. And Psylocke was really the commander. She was the badass bitch on the horsemen. And while this is all going on, we have, Apocalypse going around. He's getting these people. He's doing these things around the world. And he's also kind of saving the world. He does a really interesting thing, and we see this in the trailer with the nukes going up. He's getting rid of all of the nukes in the world. He's getting rid of the superpowers. He doesn't want these governments to be so powerful, so he just sends all the nukes away, which was a pretty cool thing. For one of the most vile villains we've actually seen in an X-Men film, or even many comic book films, he was a great villain. Oscar Isaac did some really cool things with the character. He was a brutal, savage Apocalypse, but he did do kind of, sending all the nukes everywhere. That was kind of heroic, but it played out to his strength with, I'm getting all these things out of the way, so nothing can stop me. And while all of that is great, while the big three mutants did their thing with Mystique, Magneto, and Charles, and Apocalypse, they were all great, they served their roles. I want to really talk about the three big new mutants that were introduced to Nightcrawler, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. I think the three of them did an awesome job. I was really worried about Sophie Turner and Ty Sheridan playing, but I actually really enjoyed them. Cyclops, I left with him being my favorite in the movie. I really did like him. Also, Quicksilver was a bigger character in this movie than you probably would have thought going into. He had a great arc going on, and his action scene, the big Quicksilver scene, blows the one from Days of Future Past out of the water. Fucking hilarious. So good, with some great 80s tunes playing behind it. Perfection. But really, Sophie Turner, she did great as Jean Grey. One or two times, her delivery may have been questionable, and I don't know how much of that was with the timing of the editing that made it kind of weird. But she did great. Ty Sheridan was great. And Cody Smith-McPhee as Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was fucking fantastic. In the movie, he was great. And he actually sounded exactly like the guy who played him in X2. The accent that he had was really great with the Kurt Wagner. Really good. I would have liked to see them maybe acknowledge something between Nightcrawler and Mystique being related, family. In the book, she's her son, or she's his mother. So they didn't go that route, but the door is still open for something going on. But these three mutants are in Quicksilver, the four of them, the new mutants we're getting going forward. The characters were great in this movie. Now, this movie is very ambitious. It is very comic book. This was the most comic book of an X-Men film that we've ever gotten, and it was meaty. There was a lot to absorb, a lot to take in. Like I said, it's very ambitious. but it wasn't hard for me to follow. I can see maybe other people having issues with it, but it was a good ride all the way through. It had a ton of great action all throughout, lots of emotional character beats, and it was surprisingly very, very funny. And as far as the special effects go, 95% of the time, awesome, perfect, really great effects that we got all throughout most of the X-Men films, but there were 3 shots specifically that I don't know how the hell they made it through editing. This isn't even a spoiler. I don't care. This isn't a spoiler. At the beginning of the film, when Apocalypse, he can change matter, he can phase people into buildings and stuff like that, and he's taking a guy and he's phasing him into a building, into a wall, and his face is kind of left out. Oh my god, it was worse than like a sci-fi original movie budget. What was going on with that scene, I don't know. And there was also Magneto tearing apart a shipyard that looked so bad. I don't know how those made it through, but really just 3 shots, and it went back to the shipyard another time, and that was the 3rd one. Really just that, but other than that, it was really seamless, very crazy, very visually, a lot of stuff going on there, but it looked really good. It's everything you expected from an Apocalypse level event, and you felt the stakes and the you know, everything that was going on in the world. Tons of stuff was going on. This was an Apocalypse looking event, the end of the world going on with the Horsemen tearing everything up. You got to see Magneto do some really crazy things that you haven't ever seen him do before. And while it does get jumbled a couple of times throughout the way, it's a very solid and very entertaining movie, and what I love about this is that it has completed an awesome X-Men trilogy. First Class was great. Days of Future Past is still the best of this trilogy, and Apocalypse was a very solid, entertaining movie, and you guys got to go check it out. So with all that said, I'm going to give X-Men Apocalypse an 8.8 out of 10. So have you guys seen Apocalypse? What did you think of it? Who was your favorite out of the New Mutants that we got to see? I, for one, absolutely loved Nightcrawler and Cyclops. They were great, and I can't wait to see more of Quicksilver. So anyways, guys, comment your thoughts down below. I'll see you on the next video, and be sure to subscribe for more movie news, movie reviews, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys later.